Welcome to this week's Artist on Art. I have the best pleasure, I gotta say, to be speaking with Beth Gummere today here at KZSC. Beth, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Nada. It's great to be back here again.
Yes, it is, because guess what, folks? It's actually the Santa Cruz Film Festival time of year.
Woohoo! Yes,
And,
now it's usually not this time of year, but it is now this time of year.
That's right. It's usually been in the May. The May month, the beginning of the May. It's usually been about a 10-day, 2-week thing, a big shebang. This has been going on for 10 years, right?
Right. This is our 12th, actually.
12.
But 11 years we were in the April-May time frame doing a fairly lengthy festival. And then this past year we said, this weather is not film viewing weather. Let's move to a time of the year when it's chilly, the days are short, and people want to sit indoors. Are there any times of the year that are like that? Oh, November. And there's not a bunch of other things going on because it's in between Halloween and Thanksgiving. So that's why we moved it.
So this is what will be the beginning of the program shift to the fall.
To the late fall. Because we know in Santa Cruz here, there are so many festivals in the early fall in September and October. We've got open studios and a bunch of other festivals going on as well.
The thing is, Beth, we're in Santa Cruz, and really that's our summer.
Yeah.
So fall is kind of just starting for
fall is end of October to
beginning of November. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fall now.
Yeah. And then let's see, maybe by the end of December, we start looking at winter.
Yeah, the rainy season.
The really hardcore, huge storms. Hopefully that's what's going to happen this year because we all want the water.
We want the rain. We're doing rain dances.
Yeah, fun couple last days. So the film festival, Santa Cruz Film Festival, is beginning their 12th season. Congratulations. What a wonderful thing. And it begins November 7th. At the Del Mar. At the Del Mar Theater. Now, the reason we're talking with Beth Gummere is because you're the president of the board of directors for the Santa Cruz Film Festival.
Correct.
And you have also been the director or co-director?
Nope. I've always... I was I'm a volunteer, so I don't have any official staff capacity, although I've helped out on a number of things through the years. I was the board treasurer for a really long time. As people who know me know, I'm actually an accountant in real life.
Actually, no. That's just your other life.
In other life. In other type of real life. So I was the treasurer for a long time, and then somehow I ended up being the board president, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I have a lot of knowledge about what's been going on with the festival because I've been around since the beginning. I was a volunteer the first year and so forth.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're one of the long holdouts.
Yeah.
How many? There's other people. You have a whole team of volunteers that stand behind you. And who are some of the other people? Is Beth Regards?
Beth Regards is on our board.
And she's been there since the beginning?
She's been there for at least half the time. Yeah. She's as some people may or may not know Beth. I can't imagine that they don't. She's been here a long time and done a lot of really cool things in Santa Cruz, but she was also the founder of the digital media program at Cabrillo College.
She is the founder, and she's still the head, I believe.
She was until about last year, and then she stepped down because she has so many things going on all the time. So somebody else is doing it, and I think, God bless, maybe she gets a break.
I got to get Beth on here because I haven't had Beth Regards on the show, and she's an incredible artist, printmaker, designer, educator, treasure of Santa Cruz.
And all around very cool person, and so full of great stories too.
Oh yeah, well she's seen a lot of stuff going on here in Santa Cruz, but what we're talking about right now is catching the next wave of independent filmmakers.
That's right.
By going to the Santa Cruz Film Festival, which again begins November 7th and it runs till November 10th. So it's an abbreviated time schedule. Right. Basically 4 days.
And we also are thinking more now along the lines of getting people to come to Santa Cruz. And if you can have the festival be on a weekend, your chances of people coming for a weekend to see films is much much improved. Before, when we were 10 days in May, maybe we had people coming to town for the boardwalk anyway. But this allows them to come to town for the film festival and really enjoy the festival and have it be over a weekend, and all the filmmakers will be here at the same time, and it'll be really fun.
It's going to be really fun, and there's all kinds of things, not just showing over 40 films.
Right.
But there's so much fun going on. So the first night, let's just go through all the events.
Okay.
The first night, the opening night, not to be missed, folks, which again is November 7th, is happening at the Del Mar, and it's the West Coast premiere of a movie made by dear friends of mine, Goodbye, Golly Mountain, an ecosexual love story.
That's right. We're really thrilled to have this film. It's got all the elements that we really like to have in Santa Cruz Film Festival films, and we think the audience is just going to dig it. Plus these characters, and I do mean characters, the documentarians, they are so much fun. I really think people, and they'll be around, of course, and I think people will not only enjoy watching their film, but a Q&A afterwards, as well as the party at the Museum of Art and History.
That's what I want to hit now.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big raucous party. You're going to be able to just walk from the Del Mar to the Mar, and there is going to be this great, from, let's say, what time is it on?
Whenever the film is completed. So we're going to allow them, the filmmakers, time for a good, healthy Q&A, because I'm sure a lot of people will want to ask them questions, and I'm sure they'll be receptive to answering their questions. So as soon as that wraps up, we'll all walk over to the museum and spend a little more time together. It is a school night, so it's not going to go on till 2 in the morning, but it might go on till 11:30 midnight, something like that.
We're getting late.
A little late for Santa Cruz in the fall, but we'll have drinks and some light snacks, and people can talk more to the filmmakers, as well as the other filmmakers from the other films who will be in town. Yeah. So there can, it's a chance to really have a real informal chit chat with some really interesting folks who are in Santa Cruz, maybe for the first time.
And so if you're wondering to yourself, what the heck is an ecosexual? What the heck is this Goodbye Golly Mountain? Beth Stevens, who is a UCSC art professor here, and her partner, Annie Sprinkle, will be on Artist on Art next week for the full hour. And so we'll be able to talk to both of them. I don't know. I might turn on the telephones if people want to call in.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't want to go beyond my technical abilities. If I can get somebody to help me.
I think you should sign somebody up right away, because I think they're just so fascinating, and their personalities are just so vivacious and interesting, and it would be fun for people to call in and ask questions.
Well, I just saw Annie Sprinkle last night, who gave a workshop. These are also local treasures who live here in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Annie Sprinkle did a workshop on ecstasy breathing.
Wow.
The full body orgasm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and there's nothing, just through your mind and breath.
Wow.
Take you into this ecstatic, transcendent space. It was fabulous. I wonder if she would do a little demonstration for us on
the radio.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to the film festival.
Yeah, really.
So we got the opening night, November 7th, first at Del Mar, then the walking over party to the Ma, and then we've got Friday, November 8th, from 7:30 to 10 o'clock. There's going to be a roller disco party.
Yes, there is going to be a roller disco party. So this is something, our new director, Jeff Ross, is fantastic. And he does his film festival work for the most part in San Francisco, which is a market with a lot more distractions and a lot more competition. I mean, we get upset if somebody else is having an event the same day we are around here in Santa Cruz, and it always happens. No matter what you're planning, somebody has something else that day. But in San Francisco, there's about 50 other things that day. And so Jeff has really carved out a niche for himself as somebody who puts on really show-stopping events. And so he's like, oh, well, I know you can be distracted by 500 other things, but there's a roller disco party, so why don't you come to that? And
right.
So he's also brilliantly figured out that we can utilize the Midtown part of town up by the Rio.
Yeah.
And that's where the roller rink is, and so
that's
forth.
where the movies are going to be shown?
The movies are all going to be in Midtown after opening night. So we're going to open downtown because we do love our downtown, and we do love the Del Mar and the museum. But then the rest of the festival, 3 days, will be up in Midtown. And we're going to be at the Rio Theater, which, of course, everybody loves. And we'll also
at
be...
Seabright and SoCal.
Seabright and SoCal. And then we will be also showing films across the street at the Pacific Arts Complex. And you may be saying, what is the Pacific Arts Complex? I've never heard of it before. It's new.
I, too, asked that.
And it is new. And it's on SoCal, and it's where Green Space used to be. Remember the eco-friendly store there on SoCal? Well, that building has now been repurposed into a performing arts and
that's right.
digital media school.
Yes.
And
they dance with the curtains open.
Exactly.
It's really fun.
Yeah,
you drive on SoCal, like,
and there's these kids just totally dancing and singing and doing all this stuff in the window. It's super cool. It's great. I live in that neighborhood, and I love that energy. I love driving down SoCal or walking down SoCal and seeing those kids just doing their dance moves, and it's fantastic. Well, they also have a video component. They teach kids how to make videos there too, in addition to all the other performing arts that goes on. And so our director, Jeff Ross, approached them and said, can we use your space as a second venue during the film festival? And they said, that's great. That works out great because we make films here. So it gives the kids some inspiration and a chance to see, what other people are doing.
And there's going to be the Big Lebowski party.
That's right, in that
at
space.
The Pacific Arts Complex on November 9th.
That's right.
This is sadly for 21 and over.
Sadly for 21 and over, but I think there's going to be White Russians served.
And there'll be a costume contest and music and full bar and mini bowling.
Yes. And so the way this works, and this is another Jeff Ross signature event that he brings to us from San Francisco. He does that up in the city quite a bit. And so the way it's going to work is the Pacific Arts Complex has 2 rooms, and one room will be the party itself, where all the crazy singing and dancing is going on, and the other room will be the Big Lebowski. The film will just play over and over, probably twice. It'll, in the amount of time that the party is going on. If you decided you wanted to duck out of the party in the other room and walk next door and watch the film a little bit, or if you're just feeling quiet and you want to watch a film instead of party, or you can do a little of both, but it's set up so that you can enjoy the film or be in your Lebowski costume drinking the White Russians and doing mini bowling and all of that.
So Beth Gummere, that's November 9th, but we're not over yet, because November 10th is the last day and the closing night.
And the closing night, we are going to, again, with the utilizing as many resources in Midtown as we can, closing night will be a party at the Crepe Place. And the Crepe Place happens to also have bands that night. And so there you go.
You got 2 live bands playing, Girls Plus Boys and Sad Robot.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So how am I going to get information and tickets, and you have passes available?
That's right. Yeah.
Where do I need to go?
Well, you go to SantaCruzFilmFestival.org, and that will point you to an online version of the program guide that you can read more about the films. Also, if you go to our website, if you've decided already what you want to see and get tickets to, there's a link directly to buying tickets. You don't even need to read the synopses unless you want to, unless you're comparison shopping, which is also very welcome and encouraged. Additionally, the program guide will be inserted into the middle of the Santa Cruz Weekly next Wednesday. The festival starts Thursday. We know that a lot of folks in Santa Cruz don't make their entertainment decisions for a weekend until a few days before. Which is very frustrating for people that try to make events. It's very frustrating for event organizers.
Yeah.
However, it is the way we are around here. We're very fickle and last minute. But that being said, I mean, the information will be available in several places for if you're more of a planner type of person, you can certainly go on the website now and buy your tickets. And if you want to just leave it all up to chance and, assume that some tickets will be available, you can wait till the program guide comes out in the weekly, check that out, and decide what you want to see.
So we've only talked about one movie so far, Goodbye Golly Mountain, an eco-sexual love story, which is about mountaintop removal, destruction, and two eco-artists, eco-sexual environmentalists, and what they're doing to try to save the mountaintops, particularly in the West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky, Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
This film chronicles their love, activism, and struggle to save the family home, because Beth Stevens is from that place.
Surprisingly enough, she is from that place. And actually, it's a really interesting story about, I don't think we have a lot of discussions about mountaintop removal here in Santa Cruz. And so it is really interesting. I'm captivated. When I watched the film for the first time, I was just fascinated. It was all educational. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know anything about any of this. So
it's a horrendous practice.
Yeah.
And if it happened here in California, people would be in up in arms, and it would not happen.
No,
I mean just the discussion that we're having on fracking, let alone mountaintop removal. And it's interesting that this is happening in a place where people are not as economically, what do I want to say? It's just an interesting political position that these coal companies go in areas where they may not encounter as much opposition, or opposition that is funded to the way that they are being funded.
Right. Yeah.
It's a horrible thing, and the destruction that they're doing, and the amount of garbage that they're sending, and poisoning the water table, and
killing animals,
and the people are being poisoned, and it's destroying an ecosystem.
Yeah. It's pretty shameful what's going on there.
It is. But you have some fun movies, right?
We have some fun movies.
And that's fun too. It's a fun movie.
It's fun. They make it fun because they are fun.
Right. And they wanted to insert into the environmental movement a little sex, a little fun, a little eroticism. Like, it doesn't have to be all sad and depressing.
That's true, and I totally applaud an opportunity to screen an environmental film that's got an upbeat angle to it. Sometimes in the past, environmental films have been sad, and
usually they are. They're usually devastating.
You walk out of the theater and you say, I need to go take some drugs or something because I'm really blue.
Somebody give me a drink.
But it's very uplifting to have these folks who are so much fun and addressing an issue like this and getting different attention for it. It's not the same old. It's not the same old thing. It's different people, different connections, different methodology drawing attention to this. I mean, now everybody in Santa Cruz is going to know about mountaintop removal, which I don't think many of us knew about before. So it's just another awareness, another angle of awareness. And I believe that this film will probably end up doing the circuit.
Oh, they're already doing circuit. I believe Beth is out of town right now. She went somewhere.
They went to Montreal fairly recently.
Yeah.
This is going to be their West Coast preview, but I'm sure that they'll get picked up by other festivals. We're thrilled to have the scoop on this one. Sometimes we get films after they've done a few other festivals. They're fairly early on in their festival cycle, so it is a big thrill for us to have it.
Maybe that's another emergent positive aspect, Beth Gummere, to changing the festival from May to November, because I have to tell you, there have been times where I wanted to be outside while I was watching a movie during the Santa Cruz Film Festival. And so now having it in November, and by May, it's the end of the film festival circuit.
Pretty much.
A lot of it's already been done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is fairly at the beginning of it.
Yeah, it's, it'll be interesting to see. For example, there used to be some programming that we really couldn't get our hands on in the spring. Anything that came out of South by Southwest, for example, we couldn't really get because we were already closing our programming deadlines when that was happening. So, unless there was some, very specific situation, we got locked out of a bunch of films that we probably could have played. So, being in November will give us just a different. It remains to be seen what the differences will be, but it will give us access to different programming.
It's wonderful. Again, I am speaking with Beth Gummere, the president of the board of directors at the Santa Cruz Film Festival. We're talking about the new festival beginning next week, November 7th.
That's right.
And I can't believe you're here.
Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, trust me, I can't believe I'm here either.
There's a lot.
I can't believe I'm still standing. Well, the thing is, all of us have full-time jobs.
Yeah,
and so it's really interesting because I happen to work in accounting, and it's been the audit season, and I work with a lot of nonprofits, and it's been the audit season, and it's just like. There's been pretty much a nonstop deadline for the last 3 months, in addition to a film festival. So my thinking of we're going to be in the fall was, we'll get away from tax season. Well, actually, it's just a different part of tax season.
Yeah, because we're in the U.S. and it's always a tax.
There's always
season.
Every season is tax season in the U.S.
So Beth, we only have a few more minutes. Can you tell us about another movie?
Sure. Well, let me tell you about a couple of the evening films on Friday and Saturday night. We've got. What we try to do is program different types of films next to each other. And so we've got, for example, a documentary next to a narrative. So we have a narrative called Knucklejack on Friday night, playing. Actually, no, that's not playing against that one. That's also there's another narrative called Mars at Sunrise. Jessica Habe is actually a Santa Cruz resident, made the film and then moved here. So the film got into the festival and then she moved here. It's about artists in Israel's militarized zone, which is a fascinating topic. Another one to see is Music Wood, which is on Saturday at 2:30 at the Rio. It's basically a story about the forest where everybody gets the wood for guitars. And the environmental impacts of chopping down trees to make guitars. And this is presented in conjunction with the Santa Cruz Art of Guitar Festival.
Oh, yeah.
So, what
That's
else?
Happening.
What else? Real Fresh. This is a bunch of films by high school kids. This is going to be playing Sunday at 12 o'clock at the Rio. Don't miss that. Discovering Mavericks. Now that we're in the Mavericks season, the window is now open. If you want to come and see like the story behind the story, Josh Palmer, who was here with the West Siders 3 years ago, has made a film called Discovering Mavericks. Beautifully done film. Really gives you more of the whole Jay Moriarty story. We all saw it in Chasing Mavericks, but it's a little bit more backstory about him and about a bunch of other filmmakers. And that's Sunday at 9:15 at the Rio. Oh, and UC Santa Cruz's own Irene Lustig has done a film called The Motherhood Archives. That's Sunday at 7 p.m. at the Pacific Arts Complex. So that's just a quick overview. There are a lot of films. Oh, and of course, the UC Santa Cruz students have curated their own program, which will be playing Sunday at 2:30 at the Rio.
Wonderful.
So that's just a small slice of what we've got in store for you.
And if you missed any of this show and you need more information, Santa Cruz Film Festival.org has everything you could possibly need to get the most out of this coming 12th Santa Cruz Film Festival, beginning November 7th and running through November 10th. Beth, thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
I applaud you and love your work.
Thank you.
And you just keep going, girlfriend. You're awesome.
You too. And right back at you, girlfriend.